Java, the most populous of the Indonesian islands, and home to a few of the most well-known places on the Indonesian backpacking trail. There are a few places here that always seem to pop up in travel vlogs and Instagram feeds. There is much more to the island than just the Mount Bromo sunrise. Most travellers, though, rush through the island to get to Bali or Lombok, only hitting the same 4 or 5 Insta-famous spots as everyone else. But if you take your time and explore, you will find there is much more to Java than you realised. But it's not only the island's spectacular geography that should inspire your adventures. Java also boasts some interesting cities, most of which see little in the way of visits from backpackers. So to educate the uninitiated, here are 10 cities in Java that are worth your time to explore. So in no particular order, let's begin. Number 1. Jakarta. Known as the Big Durian, Jakarta is the capital and largest city in Indonesia by a country mile. It is also a city misunderstood by most backpackers. Many make their arrival into Indonesia here, but almost all are intent on getting away from the city as fast as they possibly can, which in my opinion is a mistake. Crowded, dirty, boring. These are just few of the words I've heard backpackers use to describe Jakarta. Alright, I'll give you the first two, but the city is far from boring. There is more than enough in the city to keep you occupied for a few days at least. There are several good hostels in interesting areas of the city, and there is a decent transport network involving a commuter railway and a busway system. Although be aware, Jakarta's traffic jams are legendary, so you'll want to try and avoid travelling about the city during the rush hours. There are several interesting areas of the city to explore, such as the old colonial district of Kota Tua, the Chinatown of Glodok, and central Jakarta, where you will find the National Monument and National Museum. Central Jakarta also is home to Jalan Jaksa, the original backpacker street of Jakarta, as well as Jalan Surabaya, the flea market street full of little shops selling all kinds of interesting things from wayang puppets to old vinyl records. Number 2. Yogyakarta. Situated in central Java, Yogyakarta is the number 1 visited city in Java as far as backpacking goes, and for good reason. The city is home to the ancient temple complex of Prambanan, and the massive Borobudur temple is also close by, as is the bizarre chicken church. It's not all just ancient temple ruins though. The city is a hotbed of Javanese culture and traditions, and still has a ruling sultan who lives in a palace within the city, which you can visit. There are plenty of backpacker hostels in the city, and the main backpacker street of Jalan Prawirotaman has plenty of bars, tour offices and other amenities for your backpacker needs. The popular nearby volcano, Mount Merapi, is off limits to trekking though at the moment due to recent volcanic activity, but you can still go and visit the lava fields formed from its last recent eruption. Number 3. Surabaya. Surabaya, known as the City of Heroes, is the second largest city in Indonesia, and its name originates from a supposed fight between a shark and a crocodile. Surabaya is a sweltering mix of food and cultures, with Arab, Chinese and colonial districts. There are many foods that originated in the city which you can easily find and try. The city has a maritime history, and if you've ever fancied having a look inside an old Navy submarine, then this is the place. Surabaya is also a good gateway to Mount Bromo, especially with the recent introduction of the Damri bus service from the train station to Chamorro Lawang, the village on the edge of the Bromo plain, where pretty much everyone who visits Mount Bromo will stay during the evening before. There are a few hostels in the city, but there isn't much of a backpacker scene, at least for now. Number 4. Malang. Instagram put Malang and East Java firmly on the backpacking radar, with the Rainbow Village and the nearby waterfall of Tumpak Sewu getting all the likes. But there is more to the city than just this. The city's colonial architecture led to it being given the nickname of the Paris of East Java, and its cool climate makes a refreshing change from the oppressive heat and humidity of the coastal cities such as Surabaya. There are plenty of waterfalls and amazing beaches in the area, and of course who can't resist a visit to the rainbow villages of Kampung 3D and Kampung Warna-Warni. There is also a nearby Kampung Biru Arima, an inner city village painted blue in dedication to the local football team. There are also quite a lot of old Hindu temples close to the city, the easiest one to reach being Chandi Singasari. Malang also can be the starting point for a sunrise trip to Mount Bromo, and there are a few hostels within the city. Number 5. Bandung. Bandung is the capital of West Java and is another city whose altitude gives it a refreshingly cool climate. The city is very popular at weekends, with thousands of Jakartans heading to Bandung for its shopping and nightlife. Jalan Braga is where the action is, and this street is home to many bars and at least one reasonable hostel. Cihampelas or Jean Street is another popular destination, full of factory outlet shops selling locally made cheap clothing. Unfortunately, they've built an elevated walkway over this street, which means that the giant fiberglass figures of Spider-Man, Rambo, and the like that decorated the roofs of the jean shops are no more. Around Bandung are many hot springs, rice terraces, and tea fields, as well as Kawah Putih, the White Crater, a volcanic lake that is very popular with local tourists. Bandung is also famous for food, and there is a massive night street food market on Jalan Cibadak in the city's Chinese district. Number 6. Semarang. Semarang is the largest city in central Java, yet few backpackers venture here despite the fact that the city is a great place to explore and has an old colonial district that is a favourite of photographers. The city boasts a large Chinatown with several atmospheric temples, as well as a large street food market, Semawis, that occurs on a Saturday evening. Simpang Lima, a large roundabout in the city, also comes alive on a Saturday evening, where eating food and riding around on massive bikes decorated with hundreds of lights seems to be the done thing. Semarang is also home to Lawang Sewu, or 1,000 Doors, once the headquarters of the railway company, and used as a prison during the Japanese occupation in World War II. It is now a museum, and is said to be one of the most haunted places in Asia. Number 7. Solo. Vying with the nearby Yogyakarta as the hotbed of Javanese culture is Solo, or Surakarta as it's sometimes known. Lots of history and tradition here, with Dutch forts, sultans' palaces, and a performance of the Ramayana. There is also the Galabo, a nighttime street food market. Near to the city is Mount Lawu, where you can find waterfalls, as well as a couple of Hindu temples that indicate the presence of some sort of fertility cult here back in the past. Heading up the mountains, Candi Suko is the first temple you come to. This has a very interesting selfie spot. Those that have been here know exactly what I'm talking about. Driving further up the mountain leads to Candi Chetho, where the objects of worship at the top might just surprise you. Number 8. Bogor. About an hour from Jakarta by local train is Bogor. Known as the City of Rain, Bogor holds the record for the most thunderstorms a year, so don't forget to bring a waterproof. Trust me, you're going to need it. In the heart of the city is the Botanical Gardens, which apart from trees and plants from all over Indonesia, also contains a presidential palace, so don't be surprised to be searched by armed guards when entering the gardens. Bogor is famous for many types of local food specialities, and Jalan Surya Kencana, a long street in the Chinatown area, is a great place for discovering many of these. The city is in the foothills of Mount Salak, and there are many waterfalls close by. Number 9. Banyuwangi. Right on the easternmost tip of Java is the small city of Banyuwangi. Not only is this the port for ferries on to Bali, but it's also the jumping off point for visiting the blue flame of the Aegean crater. Close by are some great beaches, including those famous for surfing and turtle conservation. Banyuwangi also happens to be famous throughout Java as a centre of dukun, a type of black magic. Number 10. Tangerang. Next to Jakarta is the city of Tangerang, famous for its Chinese heritage. Some of the first Chinese migrants in Java made here their home over 500 years ago, and grew to be known as the China Benteng. You can learn all about their history at the Benteng Heritage Museum. You'll find this museum tucked away in the side streets of a traditional market next to one of the most atmospheric and oldest Chinese temples I've ever seen in Java. This area comes alive at night when the main street becomes one massive street food night market known as Pasar Lama. The city is also home to the bizarre 1,000 Doors Mosque. So there you go. Much more to Java than you maybe realised, and that's just from 10 of the island cities. As for the 10 geographical features in Java that you shouldn't miss, that can maybe wait for another video. Have I missed anywhere that you think should have been included? Let me know in the comments below. As I can't travel back to Java for the foreseeable future, and so won't be able to finish off my Backpacker's Guide to Jakarta videos for a while, I'm going to be starting a podcast-like series about backpacking Java on this channel. The first episode is out in a couple of weeks and will deal with all you need to know about Jakarta. So until then, sampai jumpa lagi.